Today we're diving into a topic many of us have experienced: why we sometimes find ourselves checking in on a narcissist's social media. It's a tricky situation, filled with a mix of emotions and curiosity. Whether you're trying to move on or you just can't help but peek at what they're up to, there are some common reasons behind this behavior. So grab a snack and get comfy. Let's explore why we do this sometimes and some ways that we can break the cycle. We look because there's just good old-fashioned curiosity. Being curious about what the narcissist is doing post-breakup is completely normal, but vastly overwhelming. You might want to know what they're doing, how they're doing, if they've moved on, and things like that. So, how can you stop looking at the social media if you are driven by curiosity? The wild thing about this is you don't have as much to be curious about as you think you do. We all have way more answers than we know or maybe than we realize, but the real issue here is that we don't like the answers. You know how they are. Whether this person is a diagnosed narcissist or just some toxic lame-o, the characteristics of this person don't change. We all are who we are, and narcs are no exception. They're exactly what they were when you were with them. Are they with somebody new now? Yeah, probably. Most narcs have a harem of people, and that's why. Because things don't work, things fall apart, and they have a room full of people that they jump around with. Dating apps and social media are filled with narcs, and so, yeah, naturally, they're going to move on to somebody else. There's always somebody occupying a narc's time. They need that. You know how needy these people are. You might not necessarily see it online, but it doesn't mean that no one's around. As far as being curious about will they change? Sure, they will. When they're love bombing their next person, they're going to be really, really nice and approachable and communicative again. You don't need social media for this, survivor. You know what it is. You know the cycle. You just don't like the answer. And, I get it because I didn't either. I looked and gained nothing, certainly no answers, and then just pain and anguish from it really in the end. Ask yourself the questions that you have. Don't look for the answers online. Drop the fantasy, as painful as it is, and look at the reality. Everybody, narcissistic or not, honestly, is going to move on. No, they're not sorry. And even if they were, this is going to sound cold, but that's okay. I'm going to say it anyway. So what? So what if they're sorry or they're not sorry? Does being sorry change anything? No, it doesn't. Does them moving on to another person change? No, it doesn't change anything. We might be looking around online because we are seeking validation. Seeing the narcissist's posts online can invoke feelings, of course, of worthlessness and self-doubt. It can have people desperately looking for validation and maybe reassurance about their choices. Maybe you feel like they're narcissistic, but you don't know. Maybe you think there was infidelity, but you don't know, and now there's a breakup, and maybe you didn't make the right choice, and your worth comes into question. Your value can come into question as well. So how can you stop looking online if validation is maybe what you're seeking? Needing validation after a hard relationship is completely normal. However, instead of looking online, what you do in a situation like this is actually look inside yourself. Let yourself know. Things like this are normal, but you can learn to validate yourself. Also note that looking for validation is tied to self-esteem and the desire that we all have really for reassurance. Narcissistic relationships have your self-esteem incredibly low. But keep in mind, what happened to you actually has nothing to do with you. This person is disordered, has issues, they're toxic, they're unhealthy, maybe all of the above. They're very, very good at making you seem like it's your fault. And while no one is perfect, we're not. You're still not responsible for the person lying, cheating, stealing, and the like. These actions are what the narcissist decided to do of their own free will and has nothing to do with you. Some people feel the need to look online for reassurance that, like I said a minute ago, the narc's actually a narc or that they were toxic. But again, I refer back to my first point. You know what happened to you. You know what it is. You know what your reality is. Other people, more than likely, might not see your reality. It doesn't make what you saw wrong. It doesn't make it not your reality. Not everybody has been through what you've been through with this person. Nobody will have the exact same story as you, even other people who fell victim to a person like this. Focus on validating your experience, which really only you can do. Boosting your self-esteem. There is no validation online. There are no answers online. These are things that unfortunately and painfully we have to do ourselves. Sometimes we end up looking online because the nostalgia monster rears its ugly head. Looking at the narc's social media can have people reminiscing about the relationship, looking back at shared memories, even if it causes them some pain. Some people do choose to look to the past and relive the fantasy and the falsehoods. But when we get nostalgic, and everybody does from time to time, what is it that you can do? When we feel pain, we naturally go looking for things to make us feel better. Sadly, a lot of that time, we choose to get nostalgic, again, reminiscing about the fantasy that the narc laid out for us. Really, all this is doing is keeping you holding on to the fantasy of how things were supposed to be or what they used to be. This, of course, is incredibly unhelpful and can actually be an indicator that you might still have a trauma bond. It can take a person back quite a few steps in their healing. So once more, instead of looking online for answers or something to comfort you, you look inward and, go beyond the glowing rectangle for a minute. Set all those down. You need to replace the fake positivity with real, genuine positivity. So I encourage you to go out and find that genuine positivity. What are your goals? What are your dreams? How are you now going to redesign your life now that you don't have this massive pain in the ass of a weight holding you down? It's vital to shift from the past into right here, in this moment, in the present. Make a list of why things are over, maybe the terrible things that they did to encourage you to keep moving forward and not stay behind in the past. Honestly, survivor, you have way too much to do to linger back there. Sometimes we're looking around online because we have unfinished feelings. Unresolved feelings of love, anger, sadness, and other feelings as well can cause people to want to check in on the narc in an attempt to process some of those feelings. Here's something important when it comes to looking online if you have those unresolved feelings. Let me tell you right now, survivor, it's okay to still love this person. There's no law that says you can't. You don't need to go online about it. Narcs don't love anybody, not even themselves. It's okay to still be mad or sad about the situation, but you don't need to go online about it. Come offline. No good is found on the narc's Twitter or whatever it is. Sit down, pen and paper, and write a letter to this person, or just do some random journaling and talk with yourself about how you feel. You break the cycle of looking online, you sit down with yourself and learn how to validate what you're feeling. Validate how you feel, and it's okay. It's okay to be pissed off, heartbroken, confused. There's a whole grieving process here that we have to go through. All of the feelings fade over time. Talk with a counselor or other professional. Talk with yourself and learn that no feelings are going to be resolved by looking to see how many new Facebook posts they have this week. This is healing. And again, you might not want to hear it, but this is all dependent on you and how you choose to tackle it. Sometimes people are looking around online because of some social comparison. Watching a narc's seemingly glamorous life can trigger people and causes them to compare their life with the life of the narc, or maybe the new supply, what have you. All this does is have you questioning your own value, your own happiness. You start labeling things, comparing, contrasting. Oh, it's so detrimental. Because here's the thing when it comes to looking at their social media. This isn't true of all narcs, but social media is something that can be so perfectly curated. And a lot of them do, to where, oh, it just looks like they just have such an amazing life, don't they? No, they don't. Survivor, you know how fake all this shit is. I also know. I haven't seen in quite some time, but the last time I looked, mine looked happy as a clam on social media. I get it. But I know that all the person did was sit around in their addictions, in their issues, cheating on their significant other, who was me, being depressed, being a liar, and everything else. Don't fall for the garbage of social media. You can take a picture too in front of a fancy house and say you bought it, or with a car. You can see somebody cute at a nightclub or an event, slide in real quick and snap a picture and try to make people jealous. Once again, everyone's going to move on, even narcissistic people. There's going to be somebody new. Everyone moves on. It's not narcissistic, it's human. Think about it like this. Social media didn't exist until like 20, 25 years ago. I'm just now realizing how old I am for a minute here. What did we do? What did we put so much faith in before Facebook? Who did we follow before Instagram? I know this is far from a sugar-coaty video, but I don't make those anyway, and I'm not sorry about it. I know this is going to cause me dislikes, people unsubscribing, but I'm not here for numbers. I'm here for the truth and walking in the light of it. Survivor, flat out, get over the fucking social media. It's a high school popularity contest filled with humble brags, lies, and phony bullshit. You know how, like, you can't compete with people on magazine covers, like the celebrities and stuff? Because they're fake, because they're airbrushed, because they're computer generated. Seriously, Google, like, celebrities without makeup. It's smoke and mirrors and flat out lies. Stop falling for fake, false fantasies. Are you struggling currently with the impact of narcissistic abuse? Traditional in-person therapy is not the only option anymore. With nearly 6 years here on YouTube, dedicating my life to studying narcissism, I offer a flexible phone chat service. As a fellow survivor, you'll be talking to somebody who truly understands narcissism, not just from my years of studying it, but from surviving it as well. In a relaxed setting, our conversations will feel just like friends chatting and not a formal, cold therapy session. I can also share practical strategies tailored to your situation if you feel that maybe you need more than just a listening ear. If you're curious, reach out anytime. My contact information is on the screen now, and I look forward to connecting with you. Sometimes folks are looking around online at the narc's social media due to a fear of abandonment. Lots of people have abandonment issues. It's common to repeatedly check social media in the hope that it might allow you to still feel somewhat connected to the narc. Along with a sense of connection, it can also be an attempt to avoid the painful feelings of rejection. And as always, firstly, acknowledge and validate that you have those feelings because, again, they're okay. Ask yourself maybe what happened that causes you to feel these feelings. You're going to sit down and take more time without the little devices on your own. Reflect on some of your past experiences. What's contributed to your thoughts and your feelings? Remember, as you're going through this process, be kind to yourself. Looking on social media is not being kind to you. It's okay to feel vulnerable. Focus on your strength and more positivity. The time you spend looking online to try to hold on to a connection is time that you're wasting not looking for new connections, new possibilities, and more positivity in your life. Now, this is probably one of the most popular ones, but a lot of people are looking around online under the idea that they're seeking some kind of closure. So let's talk about that. Looking online for signs that the person has maybe changed or they feel bad, and maybe a number of other things is what a lot of people do. Again, it's probably one of the most common things. They feel that they're trying to get some kind of closure that they weren't given during the relationship or in the fallout of the relationship. I hear it all the time. I'm looking around, I need closure. The breakup was sudden. I was ghosted. I got no closure. I was personally ghosted too, and I got no closure. So I probably understand this one a little bit more than some of the other ones on this list because I did it. I was poking around, being Sherlock Holmes, looking for closure. And so looking around online, it's just going to send you mixed signals when you're looking for closure. You'll see the narc being happy. It's going to cause confusion. You'll question yourself and your decisions. It's going to reopen wounds, And in some cases, it might give you false hope, just other really detrimental and negative things. The narc might not have given you the closure that you wanted, survivor, but believe it or not, they gave you closure. Despite the fact I was ghosted on a normal November afternoon around 6 years ago, this time of year, without so much as a goodbye, in the middle of a texting conversation, if I think about it, it actually gives me a lot of closure, and I'm going to share that with you. It was very clear that the relationship was over. And, you really don't need a conversation about it. You don't need this person telling you that you suck and everything is your fault. You know this person is a coward. Of course, these breakups are going to be done via ghosting or somebody else telling you because the narc can't do it themselves. You know that this person is toxic. Maybe this person is mentally ill, narcissistic. Really, what needs to be said? What is it that you feel you need to hear? And a lot of people say that they're looking for an apology. So I'm going to go out on that branch. Why? They're not sorry. And even if they were, so what? Does them being sorry for the abuse you endured make it better? Does it make it okay? Are you looking for them to actually say the words, "it's over"? Are you looking for them to admit they lied, admit they cheated, admit they're narcissistic? Why do you need words? Actions speak louder than words, and you've very clearly seen the actions. This is another area where you have more answers and closure than you think you do. You just might not like what you're understanding, what you're grieving, and what you're processing, which is very normal. You can give yourself closure. Hold a closure ritual, say your goodbyes. It can help you in the grieving process. Reach out to somebody and talk about it. Work towards accepting. There is nothing left for the narcissist to give you, but you did get closure. You got narcissistic closure, I guess I would call it. It's kind of like diet soda. It's kind of shitty. It's way cheaper and it'll never be real Dr. Pepper, but it's there, I guess, if that's what you want to do. Another reason why some folks are lingering around on social media is because they feel extremely betrayed and angry. A lot of times people are looking at social media to watch the narc fail at their new relationship, for example. Feelings of being betrayed and angry causes some survivors to look online because they just want to see the narc get hurt. They want to see the narcissist get what's coming to them, so to speak. So if you're looking at the social media to see them fail, flat out, you're wasting your time. And I'm so happy to tell you why. Because narcs are failures. They're scared of love, yet commitment, yet dying alone, not being worshipped, being abandoned, vulnerability, accountability. The list goes on, and I'm sure you know that. Understand narcissism and really give it a thought. Really, a real thought. You know that these people do not live a magnificent life. You know how bitter, sad, petty, depressed, and miserable these people are. You've seen it. You've witnessed it. You know firsthand that everything in some way, shape, or form fails in time. Don't get stuck in your own petty, bitter, angry feelings. Validate them because they're totally okay to have, and then move on. These people honestly don't need any help being spectacular failures, all on their own, all without you looking. Take solace in the fact that you know it's happening. You don't need to know the why and the when. Just know that they're failing. They're failing every single day if you feel the need to do that. The real key is to try to move towards an overall feeling of indifference. Focus on you, let them fail. You don't need to see it every time. Things like limiting time on social media is a given if you find yourself repeatedly looking at what the narc is doing. So always remember that. Limit how long you're on social media to begin with. Even if we're not talking about narcs, it's unhealthy to just waste so much time on it. I also want to share in this video my fake it till you make it technique. Sometimes I also call it one day at a time. But it's not only helped me, it's helped other survivors as well, as far as not looking at social media. So I definitely want to share this. If you know that you're spending too much time looking at social media and you know that you need to stop, the thought of stopping can cause you immediate anxiety. If this happens, you might have become addicted to looking around at their social media to see what's going on. Normal, common, and don't get upset with yourself about it. What you can do is start as slowly as you need to. When you grab your phone, your tablet, what have you, to look at the social media, stop. Set it down, whatever device it is, and say, okay, it's 11:04 a.m. You know what? I'm not going to look right now. I will check at 12 p.m., about an hour. And then you go and do something else. Or you say to yourself, okay, today is Tuesday. I will look tomorrow. I'm not going to look today. Whatever they post today, I can certainly see tomorrow. What this does is it stops the addictive action, and you're attempting to start breaking the cycle, which causes discomfort, but you've told your brain something incredibly positive that it's going to hang on to. Yeah, you don't get to look right now, but it's going to get the fix later. And this can help quell some of the anxiety or being uncomfortable about not looking. Not all of it. This is going to be very uncomfortable, especially if it's become an addiction. And be kind to yourself. There's no reason to be really unnecessarily hard on yourself. This will alleviate some of the anxiety, but not all. And again, start as slowly as you need to, even if it's hour by hour. Another really important piece of fake it till you make it is fill in the time that you would normally go looking online, or even maybe driving by their home or their workplace. Take all of that time that you spend focusing on trying to get answers and start focusing and working on you. You might also figure out that maybe sometimes are harder for you than others. When do you find yourself looking the most? Do you drive by the house after work? Do you drive by their work in the morning on the way to your own office? Identify the pattern and then use the technique. I won't drive by the office today. There's no point. I'm either going to see a car or not see a car. That doesn't tell me anything. I'll go tomorrow. Of course, the whole catch here is you keep going hour, day by day, whatever you do, you're not ever going to look or drive by again. Time is going to heal these wounds. It's going to create some of the space we need to move forward. You can pick a date to start doing this and work on some of the other things I've mentioned in this video. Fake it till you make it really, really does work if you give it a chance and make a commitment. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this helps to stop watching the narcissist on social media. Have a great day, survivor, and take care of yourself.